But here's the key to making any routine stick. You must start smaller than you think you should. Most people fail at building new routines because they start too big, too ambitious, too perfect. They decide they're going to wake up at 5 a.m. and exercise for an hour when they've been waking up at 8 a.m. and haven't exercised in years. They decide they're going to read for 2 hours a day when they haven't read a book in months. They decide they're going to meditate for 30 minutes when they've never meditated for 30 seconds. This approach is guaranteed to fail, not because you're not capable, but because you're trying to make too big a change too quickly. The secret to successful routine building is to start ridiculously small. So small that it seems almost silly not to do it. So small that it requires no motivation, no willpower, no special circumstances. Want to build a reading routine? Don't start with an hour a day. Start with 1 page a day. 1 page, that's it. You can read 1 page no matter how busy you are, no matter how tired you feel, no matter what's going on in your life. Want to build an exercise routine? Don't start with an hour at the gym. Start with 5 push-ups, just 5. You can do 5 push-ups in your bedroom, in your office, anywhere. You don't need special clothes, special equipment, or special time. Want to build a meditation routine? Don't start with 30 minutes of perfect stillness. Start with 3 deep breaths. Just 3. 3 conscious, intentional breaths that you take with full awareness. This might seem too small to matter, but here's what happens when you start small. You build the habit of doing the routine. You create the neural pathway. You establish the behavior pattern. You prove to yourself that you can be consistent. And once you've established the routine, once it becomes automatic, once it becomes part of who you are, then you can gradually expand it. 1 page becomes 2 pages, then 5 pages, then a chapter. 5 push-ups become 10, then 20, then a full workout. 3 breaths become 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then a full meditation practice. But the foundation is the small start, the consistency, the proof to yourself that you can do what you say you're going to do. I learned this lesson when I was building my writing routine. I wanted to write a book, but I was intimidated by the enormity of the task. Writing a book seemed overwhelming, impossible, beyond my capabilities. So I started with 1 sentence a day, just 1 sentence. Some days that 1 sentence turned into a paragraph. Some days it turned into a page. But some days it was just 1 sentence, and that was enough. That 1 sentence a day routine eventually produced multiple books, countless articles, and a lifetime of writing. But it all started with the commitment to write just 1 sentence every day. That's the power of starting small. Small starts create big finishes. Tiny beginnings create tremendous endings. Modest routines create magnificent results. But starting small is just the first principle of routine mastery. The second principle is what I call environment design. You see, your environment is stronger than your willpower. Your surroundings have more influence on your behavior than your motivation does. If you want to build routines that stick, you must design your environment to support those routines. You must make the good behaviors easier and the bad behaviors harder. Want to read more? Put books everywhere. Put a book on your nightstand, a book in your car, a book in your office. Make books easier to access than your phone or TV. Want to exercise more? Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Put your running shoes by the door. Keep resistance bands in your living room. Make exercise equipment more visible than your couch. Want to eat healthier? Fill your refrigerator with healthy food. Put fruits and vegetables at eye level. Remove junk food from your house. Make healthy choices the easy choices. Your environment is constantly influencing your behavior. Most people try to overcome a poor environment with strong willpower. But willpower is limited and unreliable. Environment design is unlimited and automatic. Successful people don't rely on willpower to maintain their routines. They design their environments to make their routines inevitable. The third principle of routine mastery is identity alignment. This is perhaps the most powerful principle, yet it's the least understood. Most people try to build routines by focusing on what they want to do. But successful routine builders focus on who they want to become. They don't just think about actions. They think about identity. Instead of saying, I want to exercise, they say, I am someone who prioritizes health. Instead of saying, I want to read more, they say, I am someone who values learning. Instead of saying, I want to wake up early, they say, I am someone who maximizes their time. This shift from action to identity is crucial because your routines must align with your self-image. If you see yourself as someone who is not a morning person, you'll struggle to wake up early no matter how much you want to. If you see yourself as someone who doesn't like exercise, you'll find it difficult to maintain a workout routine. But when you shift your identity, when you change how you see yourself, your routines become natural expressions of who you are rather than forced behaviors you're trying to adopt. Every time you perform a routine that aligns with your desired identity, you're casting a vote for that identity. Every time you exercise, you're voting for the identity of someone who is healthy. Every time you read, you're voting for the identity of someone who values learning. Every time you wake up early, you're voting for the identity of someone who is disciplined. These votes add up. Over time, they change how you see yourself. And when you change how you see yourself, you change what feels natural and automatic. I experienced this transformation when I was building my speaking career. Initially, I saw myself as someone who was afraid of public speaking. Getting on stage felt unnatural, uncomfortable, terrifying. But I started taking small actions that aligned with the identity of a confident speaker. I practiced speaking in front of mirrors. I joined a speaking club. I volunteered to give presentations at work. Each of these actions was a vote for the identity of someone who is comfortable speaking publicly. Over time, these votes changed how I saw myself. I began to think of myself as a speaker, and when I thought of myself as a speaker, speaking felt natural rather than forced. That's the power of identity alignment. When your routines align with your identity, they become automatic. When your actions match your self-image, consistency becomes effortless. The fourth principle of routine mastery is progress tracking. You can't improve what you don't measure. You can't manage what you don't monitor. You can't optimize what you don't observe. Successful routine builders track their progress meticulously. They measure their consistency. They monitor their improvement. They observe their patterns. This tracking serves multiple purposes. It provides accountability for maintaining your routines. It reveals patterns in your behavior that you might not otherwise notice. It allows you to celebrate progress and maintain motivation. It helps you identify obstacles and make adjustments. But here's what's crucial: track the process, not just the outcome. Don't just track whether you achieved your goal. Track whether you followed your routine. If your goal is to lose weight, don't just track your weight. Track whether you exercised, whether you ate according to your plan, whether you got adequate sleep. These process measures are more controllable and more predictive of long-term success. I track my routines using a simple system. I have a checklist of my daily routines, and I check off each one as I complete it. This simple act of checking boxes provides immediate satisfaction and reinforces the behavior. At the end of each week, I review my consistency. I celebrate the routines I maintained, and I analyze the routines I missed. I look for patterns and make adjustments for the following week. This tracking system keeps me accountable and helps me continuously improve my routines. The fifth principle of routine mastery is flexibility within structure. This might seem contradictory, but it's essential for long-term success. On one hand, routines require structure. They require consistency. They require showing up even when you don't feel like it. Without structure, routines become suggestions rather than commitments. On the other hand, life is unpredictable. Circumstances change. Unexpected events occur. Perfect consistency is impossible over long periods. The key is to build flexibility into your routine structure. Have a primary routine for normal circumstances and backup routines for challenging circumstances. If your normal exercise routine is going to the gym for an hour, have a backup routine of doing body weight exercises at home for 15 minutes. If your normal reading routine is 30 minutes in your favorite chair, have a backup routine of listening to audiobooks during your commute. This flexibility prevents you from using challenging circumstances as excuses to abandon your routines entirely. It allows you to maintain consistency even when consistency looks different than usual. I learned this lesson during a particularly busy period in my career when I was traveling constantly. My normal routines were impossible to maintain, and I found myself abandoning them entirely. That's when I developed what I call travel routines and busy day routines. These were simplified versions of my normal routines that I could maintain regardless of circumstances. This flexibility allowed me to maintain the essence of my routines, even when the specific activities had to change. It kept me consistent even during inconsistent times. The sixth principle of routine mastery is routine stacking. This involves linking new routines to existing routines to make them easier to remember and maintain. Instead of trying to remember to do a new routine at an arbitrary time, you attach it to something you already do consistently. The existing routine becomes a trigger for the new routine. For example, if you want to build a gratitude practice, you might stack it onto your existing routine of drinking morning coffee. Every time you pour your coffee, you list 3 things you're grateful for. If you want to build a planning routine, you might stack it onto your existing routine of checking email. Before you check email, you spend 5 minutes planning your day. This stacking leverages the momentum of existing routines to build new ones. It uses established habits as anchors for developing habits. I use routine stacking extensively in my own life. I've stacked my goal review onto my morning coffee routine. I've stacked my reflection practice onto my evening routine of preparing for the next day. I've stacked my learning routine onto my commute routine. These stacks make new routines feel natural and automatic because they're connected to behaviors that are already automatic. The seventh principle of routine mastery is compound effect awareness. Most people abandon routines because they don't see immediate results. They exercise for a week and don't see physical changes. They read for a month and don't feel dramatically smarter. They practice a skill for a few sessions and don't see major improvement. But here's what successful routine builders understand. The most powerful results from routines come not from any single day, but from the compound effect of many days. One day of exercise doesn't transform your body, but 365 days of exercise absolutely does. One day of reading doesn't make you an expert, but 365 days of reading can make you one of the most motivational voice hiding in your daily or Jim Rohn motivational voice. Overscript the style Jim Rohn. You know, I've made a fascinating discovery after studying successful people for over 40 years. The secret to reaching your next level of success isn't hidden in some complex strategy or revolutionary breakthrough. It's not locked away in some expensive course or exclusive mastermind group. No, your next level is hiding in plain sight. It's hiding in the most overlooked, most undervalued, most taken for granted part of your life. It's hiding in your daily routine. Now, when I say that to most people, they look at me like I've lost my mind. Jim, they say, my daily routine is boring. It's mundane. It's ordinary. How could my next level possibly be hiding there? And that's exactly why they never reach their next level. They're looking for their breakthrough in all the wrong places. They're searching for their transformation in the dramatic moments while ignoring the power of the ordinary moments. Let me ask you something. What did you do this morning? How did you start your day? What was the first thing you thought about when you woke up? What was the first action you took? How about yesterday? And the day before that? And the day before that? I'll bet your mornings look pretty similar, don't they? I'll bet you have a routine whether you realize it or not. Everyone does. The question is your routine taking you toward your goals or away from them? Is your routine building the life you want or the life you're settling for? You see, here's what most people don't understand about success. Success is not an event. Success is a process. Success is not a destination you arrive at. Success is a journey you take one day at a time, one choice at a time, one routine at a time. And here's the crucial insight. Your daily routine is either a stepping stone to your dreams or a roadblock to your potential. There's no neutral ground. Your routine is either working for you or against you. It's either lifting you up or holding you back. Let me tell you about a conversation I had with a man who transformed his entire life by changing his morning routine. When I first met him, he was struggling financially, professionally, and personally. He felt stuck. He felt like his life was going nowhere. His morning routine, he'd hit the snooze button 3 times. He'd rush to get ready. He'd grab coffee and maybe a donut on his way to work. He'd arrive at the office feeling stressed, unprepared, and already behind for the day. I asked him a simple question. If you could design the perfect morning routine for someone who wanted to achieve your goals, what would it look like? He thought about it and said, well, I guess they would wake up early. They would exercise. They would eat a healthy breakfast. They would read something inspiring. They would plan their day. They would arrive at work feeling energized and prepared. Interesting, I said. So why don't you do that? His answer was typical. I don't have time. I'm not a morning person. I've tried before and it didn't work. It's too hard to change. But here's what he discovered when he finally committed to changing his routine. It wasn't too hard to change. It was too important not to change. Within 6 months of implementing a new morning routine, his entire life had transformed. He got a promotion at work. His relationship with his family improved. His health got better. His confidence soared. His income increased. Did the morning routine do all of this? No. But the morning routine created the foundation for all of this. The morning routine gave him the energy, focus, and mindset that made everything else possible. That's the power of routine. It's not just what you do in those few hours. It's who you become through those few hours. It's not just the activities themselves. It's the person those activities create. You see, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Every choice you make is either moving you toward your ideal self or away from it. Every routine you follow is either building the life you want or reinforcing the life you have. Most people underestimate the power of small, daily actions because they overestimate the power of dramatic, one-time events. They think transformation happens through big moments, big decisions, big changes. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Transformation happens through small moments, small decisions, small changes repeated consistently over time. Let me give you an example. Suppose you want to lose 50 pounds. Most people think the transformation happens at the gym during intense workouts. But really, the transformation happens in thousands of small moments choosing water instead of soda, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, eating an apple instead of a cookie, going to bed early instead of staying up late. Each individual choice seems insignificant, but collectively, consistently over time, these small choices create massive transformation. That's the power of routine. Routine takes small actions and multiplies them through the power of repetition. Routine takes insignificant choices and makes them significant through the magic of consistency. Your current life is the result of your current routines. If you want a different life, you need different routines. If you want to reach your next level, you need next level routines. Now, here's where most people go wrong when they try to change their routines. They try to change everything at once. They try to overhaul their entire life overnight. They try to go from their current routine to their ideal routine in one dramatic leap. And what happens? They burn out. They get overwhelmed. They quit. And then they convince themselves that change is impossible, that they're not disciplined enough, that they don't have what it takes. But the problem isn't that they're not capable of change. The problem is that they're approaching change the wrong way. Successful routine change doesn't happen through dramatic overhauls. It happens through small improvements consistently applied. It doesn't happen through perfection. It happens through progress. It doesn't happen through willpower. It happens through systems. Let me share with you the secret of sustainable routine change. It's what I call the 1% improvement principle. Instead of trying to change everything at once, you change one small thing. Instead of trying to be perfect, you try to be slightly better. Instead of dramatic transformation, you focus on incremental improvement. 1% doesn't sound like much, does it? If you improve your routine by just 1% each day, it hardly seems noticeable. But here's what's remarkable about 1% improvements: they compound. If you improve by 1% each day for a year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. Not 37% better, 37 times better. That's the power of compound improvement. But most people don't believe in the power of 1% because they can't see it in the moment. They want dramatic results from dramatic efforts. They want big changes to produce immediate, visible improvements. That's like expecting a single workout to transform your body, or a single day of eating well to change your health, or a single morning of reading to expand your knowledge. But compound improvement doesn't work that way. Compound improvement is invisible in the moment, but dramatic over time. It's unnoticeable in the short term, but extraordinary in the long term. I learned this principle when I was building my speaking career. I didn't become a great speaker overnight. I became a great speaker one speech at a time, one improvement at a time, one routine at a time. My routine was simply study one new concept each week, practice speaking for 30 minutes each day, and implement one small improvement in each presentation. Each individual effort seemed insignificant, but over time, these small improvements compounded into mastery. That's how your next level is hiding in your daily routine. It's not hiding in one dramatic change. It's hiding in hundreds of small improvements that compound over time to create extraordinary results. So let me ask you, what does your current routine say about your future? If you continue your current daily habits for the next 5 years, where will you be? What kind of person will you become? What kind of life will you have? If you're honest with yourself, you probably already know the answer. And if you don't like that answer, it's time to change your routine. But here's the good news. You don't have to change everything at once. You just have to change one thing. You just have to make one small improvement. You just have to take one step toward your next level. The key is to start with what I call keystone habits. These are routines that naturally trigger other positive behaviors. They're habits that create a positive ripple effect throughout your life. Exercise is a keystone habit. People who exercise regularly tend to eat better, sleep better, work more productively, and manage stress more effectively. Exercise doesn't just improve your physical health. It improves every area of your life. Reading is a keystone habit. People who read regularly tend to think more clearly, make better decisions, have better conversations, and achieve more of their goals. Reading doesn't just expand your knowledge. It expands your entire life. Planning is a keystone habit. People who plan their days tend to be more productive, less stressed, more focused, and more successful. Planning doesn't just organize your schedule. It organizes your entire approach to life. Early rising is a keystone habit. People who wake up early tend to be more disciplined, more proactive, more successful, and more satisfied with their lives. Early rising doesn't just give you more time. It gives you more control over your time. The beauty of keystone habits is that when you change one, you automatically improve many. When you develop one positive routine, it naturally leads to other positive routines. So instead of trying to change everything, start with one keystone habit. Master that one routine. Make it automatic. Make it part of who you are. Then add another one. Then another one. This is how you build a routine that takes you to your next level. Not through dramatic overnight transformation, but through systematic, gradual improvement. Now, let me share with you the specific routines that I've observed in successful people across every field I've studied. These are the routines that consistently produce extraordinary results. The first routine is what I call morning mastery. Successful people understand that how you start your day determines how you live your day. They don't leave their mornings to chance. They design their mornings intentionally. A powerful morning routine typically includes physical activity to energize your body, mental stimulation to prepare your mind, spiritual practice to center your spirit, and planning to organize your day. This doesn't have to take hours. It can be as simple as 15 minutes of exercise, 15 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of reflection, and 5 minutes of planning. But those 40 minutes can transform your entire day, and transforming your days transforms your life. I've followed a morning routine for over 3 decades. I wake up early, I exercise, I read, I plan my day, and I review my goals. This routine has been the foundation of every success I've achieved. It's given me energy when I was tired, clarity when I was confused, and direction when I was lost. The second routine is continuous learning. Successful people never stop growing. They never stop improving. They never stop expanding their knowledge and skills. They have a routine for learning. They read for a specific amount of time each day. They listen to educational material during commutes. They attend seminars and workshops regularly. They seek out mentors and coaches. They make learning a daily priority, not a someday possibility. Formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. The routine of continuous learning is what separates those who achieve from those who just aspire. The third routine is reflection and planning. Successful people think about their lives intentionally. They reflect on their progress regularly. They plan their actions deliberately. They don't just react to life. They create their lives through thoughtful consideration and strategic planning. They have routines for weekly planning, monthly reviews, and annual goal setting. They regularly ask themselves, where am I? Where do I want to go? What do I need to do to get there? How am I progressing? What do I need to adjust? This routine of reflection and planning keeps them on track when others get distracted. It keeps them focused on their priorities when others chase every opportunity. It keeps them moving toward their goals when others just stay busy. The fourth routine is relationship investment. Successful people understand that success is rarely a solo journey. They have routines for building and maintaining relationships that support their growth and contribute to their success. They schedule regular contact with mentors, peers, and team members. They invest time in networking and relationship building. They systematically show appreciation and provide value to others. They understand that your network determines your net worth, so they make networking a routine practice, not a desperate last resort. The fifth routine is health maintenance. Successful people understand that they can't enjoy success if they don't have their health. They have routines for maintaining their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. They exercise regularly, eat nutritiously, sleep adequately, and manage stress effectively. They understand that their body is their most important asset, and they treat it with the care and respect it deserves. They don't wait until they have health problems to focus on health. They prevent health problems through consistent healthy routines. The sixth routine is financial discipline. Successful people have routines for managing their money wisely. They track their income and expenses. They save and invest consistently. They review their financial progress regularly. They make financial decisions based on data, not emotions. They understand that wealth is built through consistent financial habits, not through occasional windfalls. They have routines for earning, saving, investing, and giving that create long-term financial security and freedom. The seventh routine is skill development. Successful people have routines for continuously improving their professional capabilities. They practice their craft regularly. They seek feedback from others. They study best practices in their field. They invest in training and development. They understand that in today's rapidly changing world, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. They have routines that ensure they're always improving, always growing, always becoming more valuable. The eighth routine is gratitude and positivity. Successful people have routines for maintaining a positive mindset and appreciating what they have. They practice gratitude regularly. They focus on solutions rather than problems. They look for opportunities rather than obstacles. They understand that attitude determines altitude. They have routines that help them maintain the mental and emotional state that supports success. Now, as you think about these routines, I want you to resist the temptation to try to implement all of them at once. Remember the 1% improvement principle. Start with one routine. Master it. Make it automatic. Then add another. Which routine calls to you? Which one do you think would have the biggest impact on your life? Which one feels most important for reaching your next level? Start there. Start with one routine that you can implement immediately, not someday, not next week, not when you feel ready. Today.